everybody. Happy New Year. My name's Kathy Merkel-Roddy, and this is Revealing the Healing. I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, it's this time of year. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season. And, of course, it's time to start reflecting on the past year. What went right, what could have been better, and evaluate where do we want to go for 2024, because without doing that, taking a moment to pause and just evaluate and take it all in, sometimes it's easy just to jump right back on the same treadmill that we were on already. So obviously, if things are not the way you want them to be yet, so let's pretend you have a symptom that's been plaguing you and you did not manage to get rid of it in 2023. Maybe you tried intermittently to jump on a healing protocol or something and it was short-lived and you couldn't stick with it. Something along those lines. There's like a bazillion different scenarios that could be enacted, or could have happened over the past year. And look, let's face it, when we're making goals and we're making new, basically life paths for ourselves, obviously, it's hard. It's hard because the path of least resistance is the one we've already forged. We haven't done it before. So therefore, we have to kind of, tamp down that grass in the big grassy field and forge a new path. So in doing that, sometimes it takes a few attempts to successfully get it underway. So especially when we set our goals in kind of an unrealistic manner. So what are some ways we can set goals that we can stick with? Because that's kind of the key to success overall, is being able to stick with a consistent change over a long period of time that far outweighs the benefit of, a drastic change, but you can only keep it up for a short period of time, like a week or two or a month or whatever. So it's important to do baby steps along the way and not overwhelm ourselves. This is supposed to be fun, right? I mean, we're on this like marathon of a life journey, and I'm here to tell you that a healing journey is also a long-term plan. It's not something that immediately you can do and expect the same kind of outcome that we used to expect when we popped a pill. You know what I mean? So it's like we have to kind of change what our expectation is and what we consider success too. Because another thing that we can kind of get caught in this trap of is expecting immediate results and then feeling like it's a futile attempt to go down this path because you're not seeing the results that you wanted to see right away. So, I mean, I know for myself, I don't know if you guys know my story or not, but I had a ton of symptoms for years and years that I was ignoring. But then I had this big kind of culmination, some trauma, some things like that sent me over the edge with my health. And it was pretty upsetting for me. I couldn't speak clearly. I had so many neurological symptoms going on that my quality of life on a daily basis was so exhausting. I basically, I couldn't be around people. I couldn't talk. I couldn't attempt to even talk. It would make me feel physically ill to do that. I had digestive issues from years and years and years. I've been a chronic pill popper for taking antacids and things like that for many, many years before my whole entire health kind of went over a cliff. So anyway, the thing is that we have to identify the fact that it's baby steps. When I first started my healing journey, my digestion actually turned around the fastest along with some seasonal allergies and chronic sinus problems. Those two things turned around in a couple of months, which I thought was pretty encouraging. And that actually encouraged me to keep going to work on the other stuff because I knew some healing was happening in my body. So that was a gift. But we have to be patient. That's the thing about it. Patience is a new virtue and a new skill I've had to work on myself too. Because, of course, I'm not perfect, and I got depressed and like frustrated just like everybody else too. For me, I felt like I had no other alternative. I had no other glimmer of possibility of healing it a different way. So it kept me on the path because I knew it potentially could take a while. And so luckily I was able to kind of stay the course the entire time. The thing is, though, I ebbed and flowed with my protocols. So I didn't go hardcore all the time. So I've been healing myself for about 5 years, a little over 5 years. And I have gone through periods of time where I was super focused on healing for a period of time and doing many protocols per day, doing all the things that I could think of to do. And then there have been other times when I relaxed it. And so in the beginning, I couldn't really handle the hardcore stuff of cleansing and all the supplements and things like that. So it kind of exacerbated my situation. But I was determined to stick with it, which was good and bad. I think if I had relaxed my protocols early on, I could have avoided some of the pitfalls and some of the stirring up the hornet's nest, which happens sometimes when you're healing. You can kick up all those toxins in your body, and it doesn't feel too good when it's happening. So I wasn't really listening to myself. So that's another, thing that I want you to keep in mind, because as you're attempting to push your limits in healing your symptoms, you definitely want to be listening and paying attention. Are your symptoms getting, worse for a period of time? Could you maybe back down on what you're doing? So these are all things that are important to be aware of as you're embarking in on the journey. So I would choose something small. For the new year, when you're setting your goals, I would pick no more than 3 things to make your New Year's resolution, your new year, your new you kind of thing. Because when you start overdoing it, the chances of attending to all of those things kind of goes out the window, and you eventually have to let go of some of them because you haven't figured out a system and a way to make that happen every day. So if you're just starting out, so I know there could be a variety of people watching this, and I know some of you might have been on some healing protocols for a long time, and some of you might be just thinking about starting. And so when you're just starting, just simple little changes like adding in lemon water first thing in the morning when you wake up. That is a big win for the day, because you're not only feeding yourself a bunch of minerals because of the lemon that's in the water, you're giving your body ample hydration. The body can more easily accept the water that has lemon in it versus the water without the lemon. So already, if you're drinking 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water first thing in the morning before you do anything else, and give your liver a little helping hand by giving it a way to flush out the toxins that it has just been working so hard to expel overnight. The lemon water is a great first start. I would say if you're just starting out, another great start would be to pick an inflammatory food like eggs, gluten, dairy, corn, soy, canola oil, or pork. Pick one and say, okay, I am going to eliminate, let's say, eggs. Okay. So you make it your new mission to read labels and that requires you to pretty much weed out a majority of processed foods, I'm going to tell you, because already a lot of eggs are in a lot of processed foods. So in order to get rid of those, you have to kind of just make some new adjustments. Things like adding flaxseed into your things if you wanted to make something at home, a baked good of some sort. You would have to use a flaxseed egg instead of a regular egg, which is not really hard, but also it's a learning curve at first, figuring out, okay, how does this change what I'm making, all of that good stuff. And if you're a big egg eater in the morning, you might need to find a different thing to eat for breakfast. So something like oatmeal, gluten-free, even better if you can find the gluten-free oats, which are pretty easy to find. But making the very concrete, tangible goals that you can easily begin to implement. And then once you kind of get that under your belt for a while, then you can start piggybacking other things on. So if you say, okay, I've successfully gotten rid of the eggs for 2 weeks, a month, whatever, a week even, you could say, okay, what would be the next inflammatory food that I would want to get rid of? And you could pick gluten, for instance. So just one at a time, learning to replace the old thing with the new thing is a way to gently just get yourself into the new routine. Because often we're just like, oh, I'm going to cold turkey it. And of course, that's what I did. I don't recommend that. Because it shocks your body. It makes it very, very difficult to adjust. But anyway, I'm just trying to share because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I've made. And another thing you could do is also just become more mindful of your thoughts. That would be a third great goal for anyone. If you're a beginner, if you're advanced in this game of detox and reshaping your life, the thoughts are kind of important because our actions follow suit, as well as our emotions, which then causes a chain reaction to our energy, our overall energy and our state, how we show up every day. Are we like dragging through the day like, ugh? Or are we like, yeah, bring it on. The day is young. I have got energy to do whatever I need to do today. So we manufacture that energy by whatever emotional state is going on in our bodies. And those thoughts are triggering the emotions. So we need to start just paying attention. Why am I thinking this stupid thing about what my friend said to me 10 years ago? Like, why am I dwelling on that? Why do I keep thinking about that? You catch yourself doing stupid stuff like that. And when you do, you can actually do a pattern interrupt and just say, whoa, come on, Kath, come on. We don't need to be going down this road. Come on. It's unnecessary. So let's focus on, look at your cute little puppy or your doggy or, what are the birds doing right now? And shake your ass. I don't know. Do something like that. Just to get rid of that old thought and get into a better one. Like, I am going to learn to control and master my emotions. I'm mastering my emotions. I'm mastering my thoughts. I'm mastering my actions, because once you master the first two, then it's super easy to stay on your protocols or whatever goals you have in mind, because you have momentum behind you. Your energy state is higher. You're in a better frame of mind because you're not wasting time thinking of these other unproductive things that are dragging you down. So these are just a few things. Now, if you're more advanced and you've been at this for a while, there's other levers you can do. So if you are drinking celery juice every day, for instance, so that is a healing tool for those of you who don't know. So a lot of the protocols that I use are primarily medical medium protocols, which celery juice is one of the big tools that Anthony William, the medical medium, recommends. So the celery juice has a multitude of benefits because it not only fights pathogens in our bodies, which are the thing responsible for most of our conditions, are a combination of pathogens and metals and radiation and DDT. And so in order to start weeding some of that stuff out, the celery juice is very helpful because it actually kills pathogens on contact. When they come in contact with that, it takes the protective layer of the virus and kind of disarms that virus so that then it's a goner soon. So not only that, it helps replenish your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which helps you digest food better, which then helps you absorb it better. And so that, as well as some bioavailable vitamin C and calcium in the celery juice, it also can cross the blood-brain barrier. It can go straight through the liver and then into the bloodstream, and then actually help loosen the metals and the toxins and things that are in the brain, which is kind of special. So we want to use some celery juice if we can. Now, a lot of times the starter kit for celery juice is usually 16 ounces a day, first thing after this lemon water that we talked about before. Then you can add in 16 ounces of celery juice. But if you've been doing that for a while and you have some other conditions that are not getting better yet, if you have anything neurological, any sort of thing like migraines, or you have any sort of tremor, or like a sensitivity to temperature, or anxiety, or brain fog, all of that stuff, you want to maybe think about increasing your celery juice daily. You could gum from 16 ounces and gradually add it up to 32 or even 64 at some point, like eventually down the pike, if you wanted to really dig into your healing and really supply some of those minerals that are in the celery juice for all of the processes in our bodies, all of the enzymes, all of the hormones, all of the neurotransmitters in our body, all rely on these minerals that are in the celery juice. Other foods too, but the celery juice has a lot. So that's just one way you can kind of, amp up the lever of your healing. Another thing you could do is to start limiting and lowering the fat count that you have. So if you're a person who has been trying to do this healing journey for a while, but you're not fat free and you maybe still eat meat or something along those lines, you could maybe look at, for periods of time, like maybe, taking a week and seeing how you can, if you can handle going fat free. You could just start with one day and say, okay, I'm going to stay fat free all day. And then if you do well with that, then you can maybe add another day on, and eventually maybe to do it a week or whatever. You have to find out what is your limit. We all have to be on our edge. We want to be on the healing edge where we're not detoxing too fast, and yet we're not just kind of status quo and letting things just go the way they've always gone. We want to make changes, but we just want to make them small changes at a time. So anyway, those are some ideas of things you can do. Other things, you could add an extra green juice. It doesn't even have to be celery juice. It could be a cucumber, apple, parsley, or something like that, or add some kale in there. Whatever you want to do. There's a bazillion ways to kind of amp up the ante with healing yourself. So it just depends on where you are. And the key that what I want to urge everyone to do is just to check in with yourself. Where am I? What do I want to accomplish? What can my schedule allow for? We got to learn little tricks of the trade to, make those things happen as we want to implement them. So I'm so glad you guys decided to hang out with me today. Thank you so much. You want to definitely check out, I have a free guide for 10 things you can do to supercharge your healing. I'll put the link below. And so you can download that for free and maybe get some new ideas on how to approach this whole healing journey, mind, body, spirit, because I think you have to address all of it. You can't just take one area and expect healing holistically if you're just giving attention to one area of your life. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. You can always follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, I have a wonderful blog that you can also check out. And so I'll put all of the links down below for all of that good stuff. I want to wish you all the most wonderful new year. And I wish you so much health and happiness in the upcoming year.